Howdy. Howdy. Alouette, j'entends jumperette. Alouette, j'entends jumpere. Chinese balloon behind me. What a stupid story. I love it. I love the balloon story, man. It makes me laugh. I don't know why. But it do. It do make me laugh. Everybody giving Biden shit. We're like, why didn't you shoot it down quicker? You let it accomplish its mission. Floating spy balloons over the United States, man. Who the fuck? Who knew? What a world we live in, y'all. What a world. So my thing with the China balloon is, was it an actual spy balloon or just a propaganda story for the media? Dude, just fucking flip a coin. It could be either way, honestly. Like, it's one of those things. It's just a hallmark of the post-truth world that we're all living in. You know, you can't really trust an event like that. Does floating a spy balloon over the United States to take pictures of like military installations and shit sound like something China would do? Sure. You know, are we in fact engaged in clandestine surveillance of China? Absolutely. Would the United States use this as just a little nugget of propaganda to foment anger and fear about China? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So who knows, dude? Who knows? I'm not even going to pretend I know the answer to that one. I think that's going to be the way that a thinking person has to look at the news from pretty much here on out. Like, no matter what the end game is for humanity, I think from pretty much this time in history going forward, the thinking person is going to have to allot for the fact that you didn't consider the propaganda side of this. And of course, you really got to do it. I really let myself go. Let myself go where? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I know, look, dude, I've never been a super good looking dude, but what are you even talking about? I think I look okay. I think I look healthy, you know? Got good color, good sparkle in my eyes. You're blonde, yes. Yes. Yuk, 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 yuk. I mean, I don't know about better than ever, but I mean, I really feel like just I'm kind of like, you know, I'm aging. What are you supposed to do? I ain't no spring chicken anymore, you know? Look like you'd be a line cook at a fancy burger place. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's about the best we can do, you know? It's about the best I can do. Can't hope for more. Can't hope for less. 2007 Paul's ego versus now. 2007 Paul's ego was 27 years old. Paul now is 42. What do you want me to do, dude? Like, what am I supposed to do? The bread tuber called Bo of the Fifth Column, I think, bears an uncanny resemblance to you. I think I've seen that dude, and I don't see it. Just because he has like a beard. He's a skinny dude, isn't he? I don't see it. But whatever. That's the funny thing about me is I think people see my face in weird places, and I just, you know, I don't see the same. I don't recognize myself in other people like other people seem to recognize me. Oh, Brendan Skalb. Who the fuck is that? Who is that? At least I get to listen to this while I do my taxes. Very sad. Bye bye money. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe that it's fucking tax season again. I feel like it was like last month that I was at, you know, sitting in the fucking CPA's office getting all my tax shit together to be filed. And here it comes again. Just like, oh. No. Whatever you do, no. Good man for not even knowing who he is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess I don't travel in those circles or whatever. I was one of the people that thought Paul sounded like John Malkovich back in the day. That's another one that I never heard. Like I listen to John Malkovich and I don't hear any similarity either now or back then in my voice. I feel like it's yeah. It's weird. It's just weird how other people will get used to seeing and hearing you and then perceive you out there in the world and other people. Very strange. So, I just heard through the internet grapevine that our old friend and comrade Jamie Darkey is back on the horse of wagging her scoldy finger at me. Apparently this time I'm a conservative. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Paul's a conservative. It's like, dude, there's any number of things. I gotta be honest with you. There's any number of things that you could accuse me of, and you'd be at least partially right. But I don't think conservative is one of them, man. What did Paul do this time? I haven't even, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've been pretty much off the radar of the political discourse or whatever, so who knows, man. Yeah, I'm a conservative now. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I didn't even really go look for the thing, like the quote. I just heard through the grapevine. You got beamed again? Yeah. Apparently I did a hate speech like on a stream from 2 years ago. And you know, what are you gonna do? You know, 2 years ago that was my hate speech arc, you know, so I gotta take my lumps. Hate speech. Yeah, 2 years ago, man. That was a hateful times. But yeah, I'm a conservative now, I guess. According to the crack political commentator. And I mean crack in a way that you know necessarily think not like a good, but like smokes crack political commentator, Jamie Darkey. Oh boy. Or sorry, what's the new name? Lady Hopium. My bad. Her name is Jade Sky Paul. I can't keep up. I'm just gonna go with Jamie Darkey. We're gonna keep it right there. I can't keep up with the name change every 6 months. Do 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 do. Lady Copium. Yeah. I don't even know. I guess ultimately the idea was to get my attention, and I guess briefly that worked. Not every day I get called a conservative. Time is a flat circle. Time is a flat circle. Man, there's a crew of salties in here today. Why so salty? This is coming from me. Why everybody so salty? Wrenches are having to pass out the bands left and right today. That's what happens. That's what you get. Hello, Mr. Naughty Priest. How are you? How are you? Yeah. Sup? Beamed. Beamed right out of here. Some people have to be spanked. Yeah, I know. It's just the way of the world. It's the way the world goes. But I don't know. I think it's funny that the world of Jamie Darkey still turns. My beard is glorious. I know, thank you. Made $100 driving around getting stoned last week. Nice. $1,000. Oh. Well. You, sir. You, sir. Do I play women's tennis? No. No, I don't. I don't play men's tennis either. Blink, blink. So what's going on? What's going on in the world today? Balloon. Since you really like technology, you have an opinion about smart glasses. I don't really. I was one of the people that got to try out and demo Google Glass when it was a thing. I was working for an Apple school district, a school district that used Apple computers, and ended up at like an Apple tech conference where they were demoing, and this was right around the time when they first came out. They were demoing Google Glass and trying to sell it as an idea for, you'd have a pair for every kid in the classroom, and it was pretty underwhelming. But I'm assuming that since Google Glass, the original Google Glass, the technology has probably gotten a lot better. But Yeah, I mean that would have been years and years ago, probably a decade ago or more. Paul's Tech Tips. No, 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 no. I'll be honest with you. I don't even really like technology much. I feel like I feel like I'm firmly behind the times when it comes to technology now. Um, the thought of adopting a new way of doing things is I'm fully an old man now, and that just the little bit of adoption that I have of like smartphone technology is too much for me. I probably don't use my phone like most people use their phone. My phone is basically a brick that I use to call people when I need to call people, but I almost straight out ignore everything that happens on my phone. Same goes for music. No, I like music. I like modern music. Found a lot to like in modern popular music. I don't know if I like it as much as the music of my youth, but what are you going to do? You use it to stream, that's very advanced. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize that I was that advanced. Now I know. What is the thing you dislike about technology the most? Um, I don't even really know how to say it. Does alerts? Does that make sense? I hate how everything about a modern smartphone is designed to keep your attention on it 24/7, 365. Like if you just leave it the way that it wants to work, your phone is buzzing and dinging at you literally all day. I mean, yeah, the environmental impact and the wastefulness of it, yeah, those are definitely bad. But for me personally, the thing that triggers me the most is like, ding, bzz, bzz. I just, you know, I find myself putting my phone on do not disturb, which is why I miss 90% of the things that, people try and send me. Bzz, bzz. I think I find that type of alert thing even more stressful just because of the work that I used to do. Um, I my tech support job was really punctuated with having to be like on call a lot of the time, and so my phone would bzz, bzz, and would always be something I had to go do. I'd be on my laptop and ding ding, blah, 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 little fucking windows popping up everywhere, little fucking notifications. I'm just get a Nokia brick, yeah. Post work stress disorder, yeah. I mean, it is. It's really. I hate it. It's really triggering to me. I hate notifications. I hate having my attention ripped away from whatever it is I'm doing and force focused on this. Have you ever flashed someone? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've been in a lot of long-term relationships, and I'm sure that I've wangled a few times in the context of those. Have I ever like gone out in public and been like, "Woo"? No, no, not guilty. It's not just like your boss to me, Blue Noble. It's anybody. Like I love my parents. I love my siblings. I love my friends, my family in general. But the fact that we've reached a point where it's considered normal for them to be able to rip my attention away from anything that I'm doing and focus it on them and what they want when they want, and when I don't immediately get back it's like I'm being rude. I can't hang with that, man. That's too much for me. I honestly I don't function on that level, and I don't think I ever will. Especially now, like especially at this point in my life, I feel like I eschew a lot of that stuff, the social media aspect of things. Like I feel like I dipped my toe in that for quite a few years and tried to, maintain that sort of presence and attention. Um, the attention that's required to maintain a social media presence. And dude, it just ain't me. I can't do it. Does that, probably hurt me in the long run business wise? Sure. Is it worth going fucking nuts over? Nah. You think modern social media was a mistake? Yes. Yeah, I think the beginnings of social media had a focus that was at least understandable. There was I think about early instant messengers and stuff. All of that stuff was designed around the idea of keeping you in touch with the people that you wanted to be in touch with. So, old friends from school, family members, could hit you up. Um, and really, that you didn't. I don't remember ever like thinking like, oh man, I hope my ICQ blows up and I get 1 billion friends. It wasn't really about that, you know. And I think that type of social media really died with MySpace. I think MySpace, because there was really no, like MySpace, maybe there were people gaming it and trying to get like a ton of followers on MySpace or whatever, but the way that it was used by my friends and adopted by my circle of influence was more just like, hey, let's all keep in touch with one another and see what is going on in each other's lives. I don't really have a problem with that. It's this new kind of angle where it's like, today my friends, tomorrow the world. And everybody's trying to be a star. Everybody's like setting aside what they would actually do or think and trying to maintain a persona that they hope other people will notice. And I think the worst part about that is not necessarily the people that do get noticed, but the people that don't. Like the people out there, and this is 99% of users of social media that are out there running their social media not like a window into their mind or thoughts, but like here's I'm a fucking media superstar or whatever with 2 followers. It's just it's cringe to me. Very cringe. 2000s was peak internet, more advanced than the 90s, but not like today. I definitely wasn't glued to my phone in high school because I had a Motorola Razr. Yeah, I didn't even have a fucking phone in high school, so what are you gonna do? Like, I literally didn't have a phone. So, good for me. You guys stay right there. I'm gonna go get a drink. Be right back. Coming out. Let's sit in the sun for a little bit. That's what I'm doing. Sitting in the sun. Whoa. Speaking of the sun, Could you go behind a cloud, son? I'd really appreciate if you went behind a cloud. That'd be real nice. I would be grateful. You ever playing in television? Yeah, I played a lot of the. There was a ColecoVision as well that I played. I think the coolest old console that I played that I think would be cool to play with now was called a Vectrex. I had a friend that got a Vectrex probably like 5 or 6 years after they came out, so it was already a pretty old, unadopted console. But yeah, Vectrex was really neat. Remember, you had a good rant on what fame meant before the internet. I don't remember it. Ask your doctor about Vectrex. Vectrex may cause dry mouth, and in some members of the population, suicidal ideation. Cheeto fingers. Do I have Cheeto fingers? I don't have Cheeto fingers. I'm good. I'm clean. My nails are decent. Oh, as a side effect of Vectrex, yeah. Yeah, Vectrex was neat. Should look it up. It's definitely like an old console that is barely remembered. What are your thoughts on modern TikToker where their life seems fun and surrounded by opulence? I mean, that's like this transition. Like everybody wants to be a brand, and so you can't really be a brand if there's anything real about you. You can only be a brand if it looks like really all you do with your life is travel to Dubai and go jet skiing or whatever. You know what I mean? Swim on white sand beaches. It's strange to me, but I think that that's a wholly millennial concept. And I think that as millennials age up, that kind of presentation is going to be replaced. I really don't know by what. I would like to think that people will be starved for some like reality, and maybe it'll cause like a resurgence in this type of content where I'm not trying to present you with a false picture of how I live or why I do things, but I don't know. I don't know. When it comes to stuff like that, I don't think I'm really good at tracking like trends or hypothesizing future trends and shit. We'll see. At this point, I'm starting to think that the internet was a mistake. I'm all for sharing information globally, but whatever. I mean, I don't think necessarily the internet was a mistake. I think modern social media, I don't think any of it's a mistake, honestly. I think that modern social media was designed to glue you to your phone so that you could be served ads constantly throughout your day. I think that a lot of the people that are followed on social media are part of other brands. They wear things that they're paid to wear. They say things that they're paid to say. And I think that aura of unreality and fakeness is slowly but surely going to be replaced. I don't know with what, like I said. But it's like any other kind of ad campaign. it works for a while, and then people get tired of it, and you got to find another angle. Revolution doesn't come from people who have so little they become fed up. Revolution comes from those who get a taste of what they're missing. You think? You think? I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. Web 2.0 was a mistake. Whatever. What does that even fucking mean anymore? Transitioning away from JavaScript was a mistake. I don't know. I don't know if you could really nail it to that. It is funny though to see the way that the media has been kind of ingested by social media. I find it to be interesting, if nothing else. It's like back in the day, what your average yokel thought was immaterial, and now it's the substance of everything. If you listen to, you know, oh, my evening is what? It's not evening. It's nowhere near close to evening. Any thoughts regarding what the political landscape will look like for 2024? I was thinking about this the other day, and I haven't really talked much about it probably in the last 6 or 8 months. But if you guys have been around for a while, you will remember that I caught a whole lot of shit during the 2020 election cycle for saying that Trump wasn't done, and I think that. I'm not saying that there's 100% chance or whatever, but I do think that there's a really good chance that. Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
Nope.
Oh, jeez, Steve. Caught you singing in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing music.
I heard you singing along though, or humming along. It's cute. But I caught a lot of shit for saying that, like, having like what I referred to back then as like a Biden pause in between two Trump administrations is not materially better than just two Trump administrations and out. The way that things are shaping up, it looks like that the Republicans are going to pretty much just ensure that Trump is at the top of the ticket. For a while there, it looked like Ron DeSantis, like the party was going to coalesce behind Ron DeSantis. But now there's all these other little like voices starting to pop up. Like, I'm going to run, there's like exploratory committees and stuff. So it looks like it's going to be a big shit show of Republicans, which really undermines the attempt for Republicans to consolidate support outside of Trump. Anybody that joins the race at this point beyond DeSantis or whatever one candidate they coalesce behind is just taking points away from any opposition to Trump. Trump's got like a built-in support base, and you're trying to chisel away at that by throwing the party behind another candidate. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like it's going to be, a 10-person shit show. I think Kyle was talking about this. I guess Nikki Haley is floating an idea of running. John Bolton, of all people, like one of the biggest warmongers of the 21st century and the 20th century, John Bolton is throwing his hat out in the ring. There's just a bunch of people already starting to like, oh, I'm going to run. No, I'm going to run. And if that happens, which it looks like it's going to, this person shaves 0.5%, this person shaves 2%, this person shaves 3%, and that's all coming out of DeSantis's pot. Mm-hmm. And so what it ends up with is just another political climate where you get Trump. I think that Biden's presidency, by and large, has been a failure. I think that it has been a failure to address any of the issues that people hopefully voted for him for. And as a result, I think that there's a fighting chance that we get another Trump administration. How fucking fucked up would that be?
And they're both ancients. They can't use the age argument against each other.
No, that's out of the picture. Yeah, I don't know.
Biden's definitely shifted into campaign mode.
Yeah. The economy. As if the economy is good for the average person. He's really wanting to ride the economy, even as gas prices creep back up. It's just a big fucking failboat. Who cares, honestly? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would make really strong and impassioned arguments for it, but to me, they fall on deaf ears. It's just like Biden is, he's a conservative president, and it's between a conservative and an arch conservative, and to me, that's not really a choice at all. I think people know where I stand on that type of shit. I don't need to repeat myself over and over again. I'm tired of it, honestly. It's like I've made my statement about where I stand, and I think that reality just bears out everything that I'm saying. You know, I think you go to before Biden's election, and you know, my big contention is that he was going to govern like a conservative, and I think in a lot of ways I've been correct about that. You know, his expansion of the border policies of Trump, the continuation, like it goes so far as to like Biden's administration, and under the Biden administration, they've continued to build Trump's stupid ass wall, even as people fucking hop over it and dig under it. They've continued to build this stupid waste of money. They've ramped up deportations. I think Biden is on track to deport more people in immigration actions than Trump did in his first 4 years. In fact, he might have already surpassed Trump. You know, the middle class is still fucked over and out. Student debt relief, it just seems like that was just a big red herring. You know, let's pass it but not really do anything to ensure it.
Police killings are up. Funding for the police is up.
Yeah, I mean, like Joe Biden, like one of the big issues of the 2020 campaign was the idea of quote unquote defund the police, and Biden has done the opposite, and actually said that he's for doing the opposite. We don't need to defund the police, Jack. We need to fund the police. It's like, you know, economic disparity is at an all-time high, as it always is.
Housing and unaffordability.
Yep. Housing unaffordability on the rise. I'm just like, I'm looking for areas, and see, this is here, like when it comes down to what I think the problem people have with my position is, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I try and be equitable in understanding like why people are disdainful of my position, and I really think it's because I'm a quote end quote class reductionist. Now, I don't believe that class reductionism is a thing. I believe that class issues are racial issues. Class issues are gender issues. I think those things are inextricable. And to me, you know, the term "a rising tide raises all ships" just plays all the way through my mind, and that's just a labor leftist position. The idea that, you know, if you want to help the black community in the United States, one of the greatest things that you could do is to expand their purchasing power, expand their ability to earn money and to spend money. You know, in this capitalistic economy, having disposable income is really the benchmark by which you can, you know, judge the health of a society.
And just education too.
Right. I mean, it's all connected. To me, looking at people that are streaming over our borders in order to escape horrible totalitarian regimes and come here, like when I think of that, I think of the enrichment of this nation that's been provided by the immigrant populations from all over the world that have come here. I think of how every great exodus of people from elsewhere in the world to come here has done nothing but enrich the landscape and enrich the culture of this country. And other people don't look at it that way.
Well, it's like there's a huge shortage coming of healthcare workers, and a huge proportion of healthcare workers are immigrants. So it feels like we need more immigrants to fill the healthcare shortage.
I mean, I think that this country dies without immigration. I think that it's the entire scope of this nation is based on assimilating immigrant populations, and we seem to be working against the tide on that. But yeah, I really feel like people get hung up on this idea that talking about class issues is somehow just ignoring racial justice, ignoring gender politics, and I don't think it is. I think it's directly addressing those things. When you talk about these groups, minorities, black people, brown people, people that have immigrated from the global south, gay people, lesbian, bisexual, transgender people, non-binary people, women in general, all of these groups are inextricably tied to class issues. These are the working poor, and if you raise their lot in life, you, by definition, you address some of the injustices.
Well, yeah, they're just harder to ignore if they're actually have like a stake.
Right. So. Well, MLK is an interesting figure. A lot of people forget he was a socialist. Like the heart of his policy, the things that he's remembered for are being an ardent supporter of racial justice. But if you listen and read the things that he left behind to add context to his political positions, he was an out and out socialist. That was a big part of how he saw the country addressing the racial divide that he spent his life's work pointing out. And as such, I find myself aligned with that, and I feel like there's a large segment of the left that has been co-opted, and I'm going to resist mentioning names, but I feel like that there are a lot of people, whether intentionally or unintentionally, have been funneled into the alt-right pipeline of war and just using the economy as a weapon politically. And I think that a lot of the American left has traded away its ideals for a more mundane, go with the flow kind of mentality, and I'm just not built that way. I don't know. It just feels to me like that's what's happened. But I guess now at a time where I've kind of stepped back from this, I feel a little less spiteful about people that don't agree with me, but that's only because I've stepped back from it. In an age where we're all constantly and cheaply entertained, I think wokeness, performative or otherwise, has become a form of bread and circuses the Dems use to get reelected. I mean, that, like, the term woke is relatively new, but this idea of paying lip service to racial justice is not new. And I don't think that all of what would be thrown under the banner of wokeness is wrong or wrong-headed or coming from a bad place. Like, I really don't feel that way. I think that there's a lot of genuine truth in what people call wokeness. But I think you're right to a certain extent that it's been adopted by the mainstream political elite as a way to distract people from class issues. And to me, that's, that's not good. Stop your woke speech. I mean, the American mainstream political left is good at one thing, and that is adopting social movements, co-opting, I think would be a better word, co-opting social movements and kind of turning them into this horrible hot dog of mixed organ meats and shit and spitting it out the other side. And I don't call that progress, I don't think that's progress. That's one of the things that I feel like people sell me short on, is that I think oftentimes people that oppose me politically think that I somehow don't care as much about black people or trans people or whatever. I get that all the time, and I care very deeply about minority, the lot of minorities. And I feel like that most of my politics are geared towards empowering those minorities. And so I feel like I get sold short a lot on that. But, whatever. I feel like because I'm not in lockstep with the political center, that I'm often painted as somebody who opposes justice, racial, economic justice, and I'm not. I feel like I'm actually a proponent of those things, and I think it's to the detriment of leftists to discard people like me, because I think that there's a growing segment of the population that feels pretty much exactly like I do. I feel like that segment of the population occupies the great, there's a thing that I've talked about before, but it comes up again and again. This idea that what is it, like 60% or something, 55% of people don't vote ever. And I think that there's this kind of like, well, they're lazy or uninformed. Yeah, well, are there some people who just couldn't give a fuck in that group? Yes, but I think that the vast majority of people in that group, especially after talking to people who occupy that group, I think the vast majority of people see politics as a zero-sum game. And I can't argue with that. But to kind of tie it to the social media thing, I think that the hot take is given way too much. It doesn't allow people to be malleable. It doesn't allow people to have a change of heart or a change of position. And so I feel like a lot of people, when a big world event happens or a big political event happens, they want to have their take locked down immediately. This is what I think about it. And they're unwilling to allow for different perspectives. And I think that that's wholly unnatural, by the way. But there's a lot of ego wrapped up in, I still support this thing I supported. and people are willing to just kind of turn a blind eye to the reality of the situation in a lot of ways. What are you gonna do? You know, I swim against the tide, but I care less and less. And that, I think, is ultimately the goal of this, is to take people of principle and to just grind them under the boot heel of popular opinion until they just no longer care. And I think that it's working on me. It's not that I don't care anymore. I just don't care to have these kind of open-ended social media-based political discussions anymore. Now, I still do it. I still partake in it. I still care enough to allow, you know, chat to bring me there. But, you know, if you were to look at me a year ago or 2 years ago and me now, I think that one of the big differences is that I've just kind of ejected myself from the passion that I once had for a lot of this stuff. And I think it's just being ground down by the constant misinterpretation of my position, which is one of, like, that's the main way that that, you know, the social media environment, I think, tears down people who are not willing to go with the grain. It's let me ascribe this horrible moniker to you as a result of your position on this, you know. And I don't really want to get into it again because I don't really think that there's anything new to discuss, but the war in Ukraine was a good example of that for me. You know, I'm a person that has spent 0.0 hours making excuses and making apologies for Russia, that is now seen by a huge swath of people as some sort of Russian disinfo agent or something. Like, I'm just like I'm a tanky, I'm on board with Russia. I think that's just, it's silly, but it's maddening to be misinterpreted and misquoted and have positions misascribed to you as a way of defeating your argument, rather than just taking it for what it is. And as a result of that, I just find myself, you know, I still care about these issues. I talk with my wife about them constantly. I talk with my friends about them. Talk with my family about them. But when it comes to the average kind of social media, I just don't really care, you know, to talk about it anymore. Well, it can't be. A hot take can't be a well-informed, in-depth examination of an emergent situation, you know. But there are people who, you know, there doesn't seem to be room for people to change their minds in a lot of social media spheres. In fact, the opposite is true. I think it's always the plan. The politics and activism are mere phases people go through at varying degrees. Those who commit the most towards issues are playing along. Yeah. But whatever. You know, like I said, I've taken a big loping step backwards from all of that, and is it kind of sad? Yeah. But has it been better for me? Yeah. Mentally speaking, yes. I'm better off. Social media plays a big role in creating the perfect echo chamber for any type of person. Well, that's exactly what it's designed to do. I was talking with Amelia about this the other night. It's like Twitter, one of the reasons I can't stand it is that if you engage with a certain kind of content, Twitter just goes over the top and it's like, well, let's give you more of that. Just like, maybe I don't want more of that. Maybe I don't need more of that. And the constant battle against that was just one I'm not willing to fight it anymore. You know, I'm not willing to fight that battle anymore. I'd rather just abandon my social media presence. I took a walk to Poland. I took the walk to Poland. No, I don't go on social media daily. I haven't really, like, I think what was it, 2 days ago? I was thinking about the subreddit, and so I just made like a post just to stir the pot over there. I'll check the subreddit maybe like, I don't know, once a month or something. I haven't looked at Twitter, like looked at my part of Twitter for the purposes of seeing what's going on, and I don't know how long. You know, sometimes it'll come up because I'm reading a news story or something that links to Twitter, and I'll see my account briefly. But no, I don't check social media or have anything to do with social media on the day to day, unless you count this sort of thing, which I guess you should. This is a form of social media, but it's one where I get to provide the depth of context that, I'm in control of the context. Like. Ugh. Well, I got what I wished for. The sun went behind a cloud, and now it's starting to sprinkle. So if this gets any worse, I'm going to have to call it. Not that I have much time anyway. Got things to do today. Got things to do today. Did you ever enjoy social media? Sure. Yeah. Like, I found social media really fun for a long time. Especially like at the beginning of, kind of my tenure on the Drunken Peasants and stuff. It was just really cool to have that many people engage with your social media and stuff. I had a good time with it for sure. It's not all bad, but ultimately it's not for me. I mean, I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but there are a number of studies going on the effects of social media on young people and older people alike. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a major movement to change the way that is done. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that as those studies mature and as the data on those studies comes in, long-term studies are really what we need. I think that we're going to find that social media increases depressive thinking cycles, increases anxiety. I think that we're going to find that it detracts from social ability. I think that we're going to find that it is actually antithetical to political action. I think that the whole idea of slacktivism has really taken hold. That people feel like putting their take on Twitter is enough, and I think we may see future generations issue the technology, and there might even be a case made for dismantling some of these sites due to the just negative impact they have on mental health. But I might be wrong about that. That's, I'm open to being incorrect on that. I guess we'll see. It's hard for me to believe people misinterpret what you're saying. I think they pretend to misinterpret what you say because it means facing the truth. Well, I mean, whatever. That's just part of it. If you don't go with the flow on social media, if you are a voice in somebody's timeline that isn't towing their line, there's going to be immediate anger. That's kind of how social media is designed, no? It wants to put you in the room with a bunch of people who think just like you, and then occasionally with people who don't. And when you're a person who, 95% I think just like you, but on this 5% we're pretty opposed, there's going to be a sense of anger in that. And there's going to be this kind of idea that I'm, in one way or another, an agent of the other side or whatever. Kind of goes back to the beginning of this. Jamie Darkey calling me a conservative. That's just an actual pristine example of what I'm talking about. If you look at my politics, and by the way, my politics, they're solidified. If you actually look at the things that I have stated publicly, my politics haven't really changed since I started putting them online in 2007. I'm in my mind, if you take me at my word, a bona fide radical leftist. I'm to the left of the left, and here's a person who is ostensibly a leftist, who is calling me a conservative because I disagree with this, that, or another take. Like that. That to me is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, Paul doesn't agree with me on kink at Pride or whatever it is. Paul doesn't agree with me on this, that, or the other thing, so he's a conservative. And it's just like that term. If that's true, that term is meaningless. Utterly meaningless. Jamie's a great example of what social media can do to someone who's ostensibly sane, living in reality once upon a time. I don't know about that, but I do think that so at least this her recent labeling of me as an arch conservative, it proves the point. I mean, you take somebody like if I was to sit down with Jamie Darkey, assuming Jamie Darkey is capable of actually expressing. It's starting to. I can't ignore it now. At this point, you should just release a political manifesto. I mean, I feel like that the work that I've done since 2007 talking about politics is my political manifesto. It's not easy to pick up and read, but I don't think it should be. My politics are not simple. Oh, it's happening. Oh boy. Oh shit. Hail. It's hailing. Cool. Hasn't hailed in a while. I'm getting pelted though. I gotta go. I'll see you guys later.